I'm Gwen Preston of Resource Maven. We're here at the Metals Investor Forum in Vancouver in January, and I'm joined by Corwin of Sitka Gold. Thank you so much for coming to the conference today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Well, it's great to have Sitka here. Sitka has been a very nicely performing stock in the last few months. I think that's partly because you quietly debuted a stock and incubated a portfolio, and then sort of it was time to get out there and get active and start telling the market about what you're doing, and the stock has responded. So that's working well for my subscribers. But I think there's a lot more gas in this tank. So let's go through the 3 projects that you have that are providing that fuel. So Burrow Creek, an asset that you know well.
Exactly.
It has been worked for many years, brought almost to production at one end where there's a defined target, but then there's this anomaly and outcrop on the other end, and this whole space hasn't been tested until now, right? So
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're in an active drill program there right now, and the main primary focus is that area that hasn't been tested. Mm-hmm. We did put some holes in the historical area. We need that for not upgrading, but for doing a current 43101.
Sure.
And so it made sense to do that while we were getting the road built to get the pads and all that stuff.
Right.
So that's kind of how that evolved, and now we're up there and we're drilling that new area.
And let's talk, what is the zone that's already there? This is an epithermal vein. Let's talk a little bit about what it looks like and therefore what you hope to see as you go along strike here.
Exactly. It's a low sulfidation epithermal vein system that is up to 40 meters wide, and it has high-grade components to it, which is typical for epithermal deposits. What we're hoping to see, because of the trace of the soil anomaly on the mobile metal ion geochemical survey, is we're hoping to see oscillations in that vein, just like it's sticking out of the mountain, where you're going to end up with some pinches, but some swells as well.
Yeah.
And some of that will be dictating where you're going to get your higher mineralization because of that. So that's what we're kind of hoping to see. That could really change the tonnage factor there and the amount of ounces. And it's really hard to put a percentage increase on what you think you're going to find, because we're in brand new territory, and if it wasn't for that geochemical survey, we probably wouldn't be there.
Right, but the part that's been drilled is the part that was literally sticking up out of the ground, visible, and then some younger rocks covered the rest of this potential.
Exactly.
And so nobody's been there before.
Nobody's been there before, but if you go 1.3 kilometers and you see a vein sticking out of the hill again, it looks almost like this vein on this end.
Right.
And we always kind of postulate that this is what is happening, but without the endorsement of that science, didn't feel as comfortable to raise that kind of capital and go in there and start drilling it. So
that's underway. That's exciting
underway.
for sure. I mean, I'm excited. I'm hopeful that it's a little bit of shooting fish in a barrel, right? Because I mean, maybe I'm being optimistic, I realize, but right, the evidence looks good.
Yeah.
So that's Burrow Creek. You also have 2 other projects. There's the Alpha project. Explain Alpha to us quickly. Yeah,
the Alpha project is in Nevada. It's in the Carlin district. There's as you know, it's the second richest gold endowment in the world. Yeah. And over 200 million ounces there. Most of the Carlin-type deposits are multi-million ounce deposits, and they're structurally controlled for the most part, and you've got to have the preservation of the lower plate carbonates to get one of those deposits.
Yes.
And the mapping and structural interpretation that was done on Alpha shows that this, what's called the Garden Valley anticline, hosts the lower plate carbonates, and they're preserved down-dropped on our property where you've got the Cortez trend projection, which has 50 million ounces proven. And those 2 things were enough for us to buy the property.
Right.
There is a gold anomaly on the surface, about 100 ppb over top of that target, and there is some thought that could be bleeding from the lower plate.
Right.
So we're permitted to go in there up to 11 drill holes and test that. It's a guesstimate that we're looking between 1,000 and 1,500 feet down there to test this. And like I mentioned to you in the presentation, we had a broker in Toronto and goes, "This is the moonshot. This is your moonshot." And I thought, That's exactly what it is. It's, you know,
Yeah.
it's a high risk target that if you do tap into one of those, they're usually pretty good. So
Absolutely.
So.
And interestingly, I've seen the market get behind some moonshot in Nevada type stories these days. I know a couple private companies
Exactly.
who are IPOing.
Yeah.
So similar type. If you find them, they're good. Okay, that's Alpha. Then just finally RC, which is up in Yukon, another of your longtime stomping grounds.
Yeah. Oh,
Big
yeah.
news up there. Already an interesting project because it's an intrusion-related gold belt that hasn't seen a lot of work. You already had 6 targets, but now, boom, you added a whole bunch of ground to your project.
Exactly. We were happy with what we had in one way, but the opportunity presented itself, and we wanted to consolidate the district more than what we had. Because RC Gold already is 2 different underlying owners.
Right, okay.
So now we've got 3. And we're going to be calling it the RC Gold project as opposed to property.
Right.
But the Mod 10 addition, it's just amazing. Over 18,000 soil samples on that property. A lot of good geology mapping and some excellent targets that we think that we can refine for very little money. And the amazing thing on that property, 32,000 kilometers, there's only 20 drill holes.
Right.
And so most of the heavy lifting has been done.
Right.
Now it's a matter of compiling all that data and using, current technology to kind of refine those targets that already are sketched out there.
Amazing.
So we're really happy with the
Absolutely.
addition. I mean, 300 and some square kilometers now is
Right.
the size of that property. So
You've got your work cut out for you, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of opportunity
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
wouldn't have even looked at it if it wasn't for that new road going in there.
Right. Yeah.
you know.
Road gives access. Access is essential in
It's-
Yukon.
Yes, it
Yeah.
really does make a difference, as
Yeah.
you know yourself. You've flown in top of a lot of mountains.
Yes, for sure. You also have a copper project in Nunavut, but I think let's stick to the gold portfolio. You're busy enough trying to advance that gold portfolio. 3, I think, really prospective projects in the quiver. So I certainly look forward to keeping up with your news over the next little while.
Okay, well, it's going to be a steady stream is what we're planning. So,
Absolutely. All right. Thanks so
hopefully.
much.
Thank you, Gwen.